Hi guys, so for this week we will start doing the chart reviews in YouTube videos because I think it will be quite easy and much faster for you guys to get it also. Okay, so as for the review of indexes and everything, it will be as usual it will be inside my case studies list. Okay, so first stock that was posted was PESTECH. So if you look at PESTECH, the pullback volume is actually quite low with the candle, so you can see there's some sort of resistance over here. Let's just draw a line. Okay, you can see some resistance over here, 0.365. It may come back down to actually form a support over here, because as most of the stocks, when they break out the time, they will come back to the resistance to see whether the resistance will turn into a support or not lah. Okay, so previously you can see resistance is over in this box, and just decided to break out over here, one straight line, and then the next day it came back to touch here once before it continued going higher. So it may form something like this lah. Okay, it may and it may not, depending on the market also. Okay, so currently the resistance will stand at about 0.365. Your resistance of the previous one, 0.325, may turn into the new support lah. Okay. Okay, next is UEMS. This one is property and construction counter. Whether it turns out continues going higher or not will depend whether the property and construction team is still on or not lah. Okay, but usually they tend to move in tandem. I think EKOVEST is not really moving higher this week. More of like finding bottom and attempting to go back higher. This one also related IWCT, something similar lah. Okay, finding bottom to move higher. So EKOVEST is also in the list. Later we will review that lah. Okay, so for UEMS, I believe it hasn't really found a base yet lah. Okay, it's still looking for looking for a previous resistance to turn support, most likely over around here. So if let's say the team is still on, it may just come down, form a base over here, and then go back up lah. Okay, it may just, but at the moment I don't think there's any new support and resistance lah. Okay, we just need to wait for the stock to build a new support first before it can go up higher. Okay, BINACOM, I think this one kind of like it went up because of the news that someone is going to buy over, which ended up at Opcom. And then subsequently, once the news was out, then kind of the stock got sold down quite badly lah. Okay. Currently, I think it's attempting to find a base over here. Okay, the support may just be at this level now. Okay, 0.35. Okay, and if it does find support, then your first resistance will actually be at the previous support, which is 0.375 lah. Okay, because previously this was the support level, so it's very likely that this is going to turn into a resistance level now. Okay, when the stock comes attempts to rally again, so you have to look out for this level lah, see whether it becomes a resistance or not. But the volume has actually dried down quite well. Okay, so sellers are actually quite reduced lah. Okay, so we have to see whether the market wants to take it higher or not, and we also need to see whether this is a confirmed base or not. Okay, so if you look at the stock, it's actually going something like this. Okay, so it's forming like a lower high and also a lower low. Okay, it's only a confirmed uptrend when it starts to form a higher high and a higher low. So in this case, it may be something like this lah. Okay, then only it's kind of like confirmed change trend already. Okay, okay, next, this is a Hong Kong stock, MEITUAN. Okay, if you look at the chart, it doesn't look good lah. Okay, it's definitely not looking good. This is the first low, then another lower low, and now it's another lower low. Okay, it's not looking good lah. It looks more like going down. Okay, it's kind of like sideways for quite some time already, and then now it's going lower lah. Okay, so your final support for this stock will be somewhere here. Okay, which was the first one before it rallied. Okay, you can see even from here also, this is already lower highs lah all along the way. Okay, it may not be a straight trend line, but it's still going lower lah. Okay, while here is also going lower lows, but on a smaller kind of difference. Okay, as of now, I think the chart is quite bearish, or you can consider it as sideways lah, but it's still forming lower highs, so you need to be a bit more cautious lah. Okay, Lion Industries, I think this one the request was Lion something, but I assume it's Lion Industries lah. Okay, I think it's still sideways. There's not much of a new movement from the stock. The resistance and the support is still quite similar lah. Okay, I don't think there's any changes. Next SYSTECH. I think SYSTECH was news from new owner taking over. Okay. I think I included this stock in one of my case studies last week. I think this was a Friday candle, then Monday it came back down. Okay, so basically the stock did close the gap over here. Okay, and once it closed the gap, it rallied back and it continued going higher. So this is just a case of close the gap and it continued going higher lah. As of now, I think there is no really strong support, but I would prefer to take the previous resistance as the new support. Okay, if you ask me to spot a support, I will still choose 0.395 rather than this one lah. Okay, I think 395 is a bit more solid because there's a gap support over there. Okay, as for the resistance, the next one will be quite far away. It's about 0.52, but that's like more than a 52-week ago's resistance lah. Okay, next is MESTRON. Actually, if you look at MESTRON, this area over here, is already not looking good lah. Okay, there's so many wicks above, which shows that there is some selling pressure over there. Okay, so as usual, if there's a lot of selling pressure and the stock cannot continue going up, stocks tend to go for a pullback. Okay, before it goes, before it attempts to challenge the resistance again. So this is currently the pullback lah. Okay, it came back down, so it may have found a new support at 50 cents lah. Okay, we can consider this as a support, even though it didn't actually touch this support level many times, but we can consider this as a support first. And your resistance zone will be actually starting from here lah. Okay, 0.550. Okay, you can see that it always closes at this level lah, 0.55. So you know that there is already some sort of resistance over there. Okay. Okay, next will be N to N. I don't think there's much to see lah from this counter. Okay, reason being there is not much volume throughout. Okay, if you look at the stock, all the while it doesn't really have much volume one. Okay, we don't look at here, we look at the past also. Okay, there's actually not much volume lah coming in. Okay, very low volume. Then suddenly there's a high volume over here, you know, it rallies, then it comes back down. For me, it's a bit hard lah to look at such counters. Okay, but if you want to look at the support and resistance only, it's still going lower lah. Okay, you can see this form like quite a solid kind of support over here. Okay, then here also broken down already, it's going lower and lower lah. Okay, your next support will be somewhere here, 0.42. And then after that it will be even lower lah, it will be about 0.395. okay. WCT, I think this is also one of my case reviews, but I mean case studies, but let's just review it over here as well. It's quite good. It rallied up over here, so you can see the resistance now is about 0.58. This 61 cents is a later resistance lah. Okay, so this is building a base. Okay, what I don't really like is the hammer over here lah. Okay, it's quite high volume. I wouldn't really consider this as a hammer, or maybe it's a doji or what, because the stock wasn't really, I mean the formation of it isn't really in an uptrend or a downtrend. It's not so valid lah for me. Okay, so the volume is a bit high over here, but the other two days is quite low lah. Okay, usually if let's say your base is not so strong, the stock can still break out. Okay, but the only issue is it may not be such a strong breakout lah. Okay, so you need to be a bit cautious with that. Putting that aside, you also need to consider that this volume over here on Friday is comparable with the volume of the hammer. Okay, so it's a bit far lah, the candle size difference. You see this candle and this candle is quite similar, right? But you see this volume is like 16.99, or it's about 17 million, while this volume is only half of it. Okay, so you need to be a bit more cautious to see whether this is actually a retailer's move or is this really institution buying in lah. Okay, now Evergreen. Honestly, there's really nothing much for me to review over here because the stock is too new. Okay, there is not enough data for you to actually see whether it's an uptrend or a downtrend or a sideways. Okay, if you look at the hourly chart, it looks more like it's a pullback lah. Okay, it looks more like lah. Okay, and even in a 15 minutes, on the 15 minutes, it looks a bit sideways. So honestly, I can't give any comments here lah. Okay, but if you want to look at a shorter time frame chart, this is more like a sideways or pulling back lah. Okay, so your support will be somewhere here 0.405. It should not break lah. If it breaks, then from 0.405 until this level, 0.405 until about 33 cents, actually I don't see any support over here lah. Okay, SAMAIDEN, I think solar stock, SolarVest is still the best lah. Okay, SAMAIDEN don't seem like it's really in tandem. Okay, if we look at the chart and then the candle wise, you can see that this is the highest, lower, 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 continuously going lower, and the lows are also going lower lah. Okay, for me, I don't really see it as a good chart. This support is also broken. Now it's attempting to go back higher. Okay, there is a big selling candle over here. The next day, it actually didn't really engulf lah. It closed higher than this candle on lower volume. Okay, so you need to ask yourself and see whether this is actually institutions buying or actually just retailers lah. Okay, so little volume only. This is what you need to consider. Okay, so in terms of chart, I don't think it's good. It has already broken support. Even this support over here also broken already. But in terms of renewable energy, I'm not so sure the team is back or not lah. If it's back, then probably SolarVest can lead and the rest will follow suit lah. Okay, if it's not, then this is just the formation of a lower low and eventually a lower high lah. Okay, SFPTECH, I also don't see it good lah. Okay, it's quite obvious. If you see here, you know, all your highs are going lower and your lows are also going lower, which is not good lah, obviously, because your trend is supposed to be higher high and higher lows, whereas this one is lower highs and lower lows already, so it's not doing well. However, there is some kind of support at 90 cents. Okay, you need to see whether this support holds or not. Okay, if it holds, there's quite a lot of work for SFPTECH to come back as an uptrend lah. Okay, the thing is quite far lah. Okay, I think it has to break somewhere about here 1.04 before it can confirm it's an uptrend again. Okay, quite a lot of work lah. But as of now, the trend is downtrend and it's forming lower high and lower low lah. Okay, RAMSSOL. I also included this as one of my case studies because I think it's quite interesting for a stock to be near its all-time, near its 52-week high while having such a bad market lah. Okay, so it managed to break out. It did manage to break out, but then it found some resistance over here at 54 cents, which also happens to be an old resistance over here lah. Okay, 2022 one. Then it sold down quite badly lah. Okay, quite a bad sell down. But the sell down on Friday, which is today, is a bit weird. The candle is much larger than the one on Wednesday, but the volume is much lesser. Okay, so again, you need to ask yourself and see whether is the banker selling or is it the retailer selling lah. Okay, SCGBHD, it's not really a trending counter lah. Okay, you can see all the while it's kind of like sideways over here. You know, there's not much of trend moving. And you see the volume is not really always there lah. Okay, just recently there's a lot of volume coming in. I wouldn't say it's going to be an uptrend. I think it needs some time to prove itself lah. Okay, your breakout point will definitely be somewhere here lah, 0.355, and your support will be somewhere here lah, 0.325. Okay, your resistance will be about 0.385, 0.405, quite a lot lah. Okay, but I think it will form another base first before moving higher. Okay, whatever this stock's name is, it also depends on the construction team lah. Okay, whether the property and construction team is back or not. If it is back, then it's very likely that this stock will also be back lah. Okay, there will also be trend in this stock. If it's not, then most likely there won't be the trend there lah. Okay, so I don't think the support and resistance has changed. I think it's exactly the same still here. The volume on Friday is quite encouraging, quite high. and the base is slightly lower lah, okay, compared to the previous support. So what you need to look at is whether this line is broken or not, whether it's actually able to break out from the previous high or not, okay. So because this is like a sideways kind of trend, just like this one broke a bit by 1 bit lah, okay, it can be a washout caused by the bankers to wash the weak retailers out, okay. So that's something for you to monitor and see lah, okay. Okay, next stock is TAS. I don't really see much of a trend here lah, okay. The candles most of the time is a bit barcode also lah, okay. Some of the days no trading at all. I believe it's quite difficult to predict lah, okay. If you look at the stock chart like this, it looks a bit more like pump and dump lah, okay. Here pump up a lot, then sell down, then pump again, okay. You need to be cautious to see whether it's a pump and dump counter or not. But putting that aside, these are your levels to look at lah, okay. This was the previous resistance, this is your support. This is one cup, you can consider this as your support also. 0.3 to 0.305 are also supports, okay. It did form a small cup, a small handle over here lah, with this as a support lah, okay, which is at about 0.315. You can consider that one as well lah, but that one just touched one day only, so I don't think the support level there is that strong lah, okay. Yeah, other than that, I don't really think there's much to trade lah, because it's very barcode lah over here, okay. SMETRIC, okay, you can see some volume coming in over here, okay. Then I ended up continuing. Here is quite quiet lah, okay. But if you look at the past, this counter is relatively, there's not much volume over here lah the entire time, okay. If you want to consider short-term trade, I think the support and resistance can be just here, and most likely here lah. Okay, short-term trade lah. Other than that, this one actually, if you really look at it, it's also kind of barcode lah. Okay, if you look at it like this, it's really kind of barcode. Quite difficult to this thing, because few bits will already cost you to is already about 10% of your capital, so quite difficult lah. Okay, but if you want to look at it just as a counter, whether not looking at the past data, this is the breakout candle. Okay, this is another attempt to break out, but then met with resistance over at 0.17. So come back down to pull back lah, consolidate. Okay. Next is revenue. This is a clear cut bad one lah. Okay. This is pump up lah, pump up to sell. Okay. You look at this candle over here, you can see this candle over here. Sorry, too big. This candle over here, it's quite obvious lah. Okay. Then it continues selling down, and that is it lah. Okay, I think if you really want this counter, you need some insider news, or otherwise it's quite difficult to tell you that where is the support and resistance lah. Okay, currently the support is at 0.2. The previous resistance was this level 0.22, and your next resistance will be about 0.26 to 0.265. Okay, but bear in mind there's not much of trading activity over here. Okay, it's a very penny stock already. Revenue, I think, had its glory days during COVID time. Okay, but I think with the recent news and everything, it's no longer in a good situation now. Okay, the volume came over here, but I think it's kind of like people buy here then sell over here lah. Okay, the volume is so high because it's kind of like a shooting star kind of candle. Okay, but other than that, it's going lower and lower lah. I don't know what will happen to the counter, but it's still forming lower lows and lower highs lah. Okay. Okay, I think this is one of the hot stocks being discussed this week. There is undeniably quite high volume. But I remember this stock is a bit of a pump and dump counter last time. I don't know what has happened now. I don't follow the fundamentals of the counter. But this was last time. Okay. The support is at 0.03. Okay, then I think it attempted to form a higher support at about this level lah. Okay, 0.06. Then some support at 0.07. Then after that it decided to go higher. Okay, you need to be aware that the candle today is not a good candle. It's a candle which people already take profit. Okay, you need to consider the fact that if people have bought here at 0.03 and it rallied up until today, it's already a 200% gain. People will start selling. Okay, so the candle that is showing today is not a good candle lah. Okay, just bear that in mind. Other than that, if you want to look at it on a just a chart wise, you can see here all is barcode on this counter. Okay, if you want to look at it just as a chart wise, it's kind of like a rounding bottom lah. Okay, and it kind of broke out today. Okay, M and G also quite penny one. Okay, this one consider uptrend. Okay, you can see it's uptrending over here. This is not an exact trend line now. Okay, I just draw one to show you it's uptrending. Okay, so if you look at the previous low, this is the previous low, and then it form a new low over here. And of course, if you have a higher low, then automatically you should be having a higher high as well. Okay, which is good. So you can find one over here. So this is your latest high, and this is your latest low. Okay, so it is going higher lah. Okay, let me just okay, so it is going higher. Okay, so currently your support will be at 0.245, whereas your resistance will be at 0.28. Just bear in mind it's a penny counter. Few bits will already be 10% lah. Okay, the volume to attempt to break out is pretty high, and the pullback volume is quite low, considerably low. But this candle over here on Wednesday is not a very good looking candle lah. Okay. Okay, next is Swift. I don't think anything has changed for Swift lah. Okay, the gap is still present. I don't know whether it wants to close or not. The resistance is also still the same. Okay, there's not much changes for this counter, but you need to remember previously Swift don't have so high volume one. Okay, recently only Swift is having a lot of volume lah. Okay, so you need to bear that in mind. Okay, next is HIAPTEK. HIAPTEK, I think it's kind of sideways lah. I don't think it's finding a new trend yet. There isn't really a good trend here. It's kind of like sideways over here. Okay, still the resistance that it needs to break will be here lah. Okay, this will be the resistance it needs to break, and then here will be the support. Okay, I think it's still yet to find a direction whether it wants to break out, continue going higher or what. But you can see it's attempting to break out and fail lah. Okay, 2 times over here. Okay, MRCB same as all the other property and construction counters. You need to see whether the trend is still there or not. At the moment, these two candles are not something that is good to have in a trend, especially when it appears here, which is an uptrend. Okay, this one is a smaller uptrend and then it appeared here, and then moreover it's on high volume. It's not something good lah. It's not something good to have. Okay, so then it comes down here. It may form a higher base over here. So if let's say it does form a higher base over here, you will get something like this lah. Okay, it will be a triangle, and then you will see whether it wants to break up or it wants to break down lah. Okay, so for me, I think nothing has changed in MRCB's chart. Okay, BJLAND, I think recently there's a lot of news, not news lah. I think recently a lot of people are looking at the stock. There was news, this news lah. Okay, names a new chairperson. I think something to do with Johor lah. Okay. Then the volume started coming in. Despite the volume coming in, I still think the stock is in sideways lah. Okay, until the stock makes a move, there's really nothing to review about lah. Okay, Beta, I think this stock is quite disappointing. Always attempt to break out but fail. Okay, we currently it's already forming like a new low after the breakdown lah. Okay, it's already like going lower. If you look at it here, it's like going lower, then here also going lower. It doesn't look so good lah. Okay, but other than that, I think the support and resistance remains the same. just that there's a new support at 0.43 lah, which is also the support over here. Okay. GDEX. Wow, most of the stocks I reviewed today are less than 1 ringgit. Okay, so for GDEX, your support will definitely be about here, 165, and your resistance should be about here lah. Okay, 20 cents. There is some volume coming in on Thursday, and also Friday is not so high lah. Okay, but it's definitely sideways lah. You can see. Okay, it's sideways. It's not moving anywhere at the moment. You just have to wait until it makes a direction lah. Okay. Okay, EKOVEST, again same property and construction counter. Will have to depend whether the team is still on or not. If the team is still there, then of course it will be great lah. Okay, if the team is not there, then most likely the trend may not continue lah. Okay, so we will have to depend on the team is there or not. Okay, but this candle over here is not a good looking candle. Okay, it's not a good looking candle. It has also formed here before, but as of now, it's still forming higher highs and higher lows lah. Okay, so something to look out for. AGMO, there's a high volume coming in on Friday. Okay, I think this one share the float quite small. Yeah, 186 million only. Very small float means very easy to go up and very easy to go down. Okay, so you need to bear that in mind. The volume is quite powerful. Okay, it's about 9 million. It's about triple of yesterday's volume, and also about 4 times of the average 10 days moving average of volume lah. Okay, but there is no base here. Okay, I believe if let's say the stock don't have base, they tend to retrace and build a base before going higher lah. Okay, so you have to look for that. As of now, the support is this level, and your resistance will be at this level. Okay, 655. Okay, NATGATE is definitely not looking good. Okay, I think I also reviewed this counter last week, and I think last week itself I did mention you will have to see where the stock goes lah. If it breaks down, means it's not good. Okay, so it has broken down already. Okay, it's finding a lower base lah, definitely. Okay, your next support will be here. Okay, 120, and then after that your support will be here, 114. Okay, so it depends where it wants to land, where it finds a new base, but as of now it's definitely not looking good. Already broken support also. Okay, SUNVIEW, similar to what I reviewed in SAMAIDEN. The only solar counter that's currently doing very well is SolarVest. Putting SYPAK aside, because SYPAK I think just broke out. Let me just have a look at SYPAK. SYPAK is also not doing well. It's coming down. Okay, after the breaker is coming down. So SUNVIEW is already broken all its support. So it's not looking good at all. Okay, it has already broken the latest support also, and it's going lower lah. Okay, so your next support will be somewhere here. This looks to be quite a strong support lah, 69 cents. Okay, QAS, same thing, from sideways over here. Okay, the resistance of about 61 cents and also the support at 56.5 cents is going lower lah. Okay, it broke down quite high volume and is going lower over here. So your next support will definitely be this lah, 0.505, and if it's not able to, it will definitely attempt to close this gap over here. Okay, which is 0.475. Okay, the gap should be strong lah. Okay, but if it's not able to, then you will see you will kind of expect it to reach a 52-week low lah. Okay. Okay, SUNSURIA. This breakout was quite strong, but I think it was met with quite heavy resistance, quite heavy selling force lah. Okay, so the stock has come down to about no, it's actually lower than the breakout point already lah. Okay, not very good, but it didn't break the previous base support, which is 0.495. Okay, so be on the lookout to see whether this support breaks or not. If it breaks, means the chart will not look good anymore lah. Okay, you imagine you consolidate so much here, then you break and then come back down, because it doesn't look good anymore lah. Okay. Okay, PARKSON, there is some trend over here lah. Okay, you can see it's going up. Even in the short term trend, it is going higher. Okay, you can see like this. Okay, so if you consider this as the trend line, I think it's touching on the trend line lah. Okay, and previously I did mention that this was a resistance 0.285. It's actually standing on top of the resistance, so there's a high chance that this resistance has turned into a new support lah. Okay, so you can monitor this level whether it becomes a support or not. And your resistance, your first one will be here 0.355. Okay, and your second resistance will be here 0.375. Okay. Okay, next one is spring, 20 cents counter. Okay, you look at this counter in this manner, this picture ni, you know that there's a lot of barcodes, and it's not really a counter that has volume, that has trading activity all the time. Okay, just by looking at this part. And suddenly there's a very high volume here, so you need to be a bit careful lah. Huh? Okay, so your resistance will be here lah. Okay, 0.24, and your support will be here lah. Okay, 0.195. Okay, volume is reducing already lah. Okay, okay, JHM. Kind of broken out from the triangle, but if you adjust the triangle, still can lah. Okay, but need to be a bit cautious because the selling volume here is very high, and the subsequent days buying volume is pretty low. It's not as high already. Okay, need to be a bit cautious. See whether the stock is actually going to go higher or is actually already coming lower. Okay, but it still looks to be in a triangle. Just that besides this high volume coming down, oh okay, this one just high volume coming down because this support actually broken. It's not really a good sign lah. Okay, it's not a good sign that the support is broken. Subsequent days attempt to break out from this resistance. I think the support has not turned into resistance. It's also not working lah. Okay, subsequent days one also not okay. So need to be a bit cautious lah. Okay, ATAIMS. I think VS posted a very good quarter. I think moving forward the prospect is also quite good. But I really don't see the stock stock price doing well after the quarter report was out, which may only mean that the industry, I mean the whole sector, is actually generally not doing well lah. Okay, and then another one is the number of chart reviews requested today. The price is very penny. Okay, if you have so many penny stocks, means market environment is not bullish lah. Okay, penny stocks will only come out and play when market is not bullish. Okay, so at times I think it broke out and then it came back down. It's now testing back the previous support. Okay, it's not looking good lah. Okay, the sell down volume was also quite high. Okay, support and resistance level remain the same. There's no new support and resistance level unless it decides to come out with another trend. Currently it's sideways lah with this breakout over here. Okay, JFTECH. This stock was actually quite bullish lah. Okay, but I think recently the sell down has been quite heavy. The hammer here is not a bullish hammer lah, if you ask me. Okay, because it's going up and all of a sudden you have a hammer over here. You will need to see whether the stock wants to build a higher base or not lah. Okay, this is the high, comes down, then over here it's also forming lower. You need to see whether it forms a base or not first lah. Okay, but the volume and the red candles don't look too good to me lah. Okay, this head and shoulders failed to materialize. So if a head and shoulders fail to materialize, it should do well lah for the stock. It should. Okay, but it depends on the market environment as well lah. Okay, so I will just draw the support and resistance line. This is the resistance 120, and your support will be 1.04. Okay. Okay, JSB. This one, the support is definitely here, 0.83. Your resistance will be somewhere here lah. Okay, 1.02, sorry. But bear in mind that there is a super huge selling force over here. Okay, this long wick over here, which indicates that there are a lot of people who are stuck there. Okay, because it was pushed up, people will think, wow, breakout already, time to go in a lot, but you know, suddenly it comes back down, and then, you know, not everyone is willing to cut loss. You know, they will start thinking like, oh, it's okay, this is momentary, you know, it's going to come back higher, you know, the volume is real, and all those kind of things. You need to remember that the volume that you are seeing here includes buying and selling. Okay, you don't know how much is buying and how much is selling over here. Okay, so there may, from here, even though it closed green, there may have been a lot of sellers inside. Okay, but it's masked because it's green color. Okay, so you need to be cautious of that lah. Okay, but putting that aside, this is your support and this is your resistance level. Okay, PJBUMI. Okay, I mentioned before I don't like this candle. Subsequently, it managed to break out with some volume, in fact. Okay, and then another candle, similar one, came out here and it's coming down again. So if we have a look at it, I think your new support or resistance would definitely be this 1.03 level. Kind of obvious if you ask me. Okay, it has hit few times, breakout also can come back down one. Okay, but what I don't like to see is the support has been broken. Okay, the support has been broken and it's actually attempting to find a new base lower than the previous support. Okay, which may indicate that you are forming a lower low already lah. Okay, so you need to be a bit cautious. Other than that, I don't think the support and resistance levels has changed. This will be your support level 1. This will be another support level lah, and this another support level. Okay, but from here you can actually see there's a lot of sellers over here as well lah. Okay, need to be a bit cautious lah. Okay, okay, YONGTAI, I think this was in my case review last week. If we look at the stock, it looks quite good lah. Okay, but like I just mentioned in PJBUMI's chart, and sorry, GSB's chart, this one includes buying and selling, so this high volume over here doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be very good lah. Okay, you need to keep that in mind. Then there is a high volume here, and then on Friday there's another high volume lah. Okay, I don't know. Oh, okay lah, not every Friday. Okay, so the resistance and support stays. If it doesn't break out, then probably it's going to be sideways lah. Okay, you can see it's quite obvious, just sideways already now with all the resistance over here. Okay, so support and resistance no change lah. Okay, so next is PUNCAK. PUNCAK had quite a good breakout lah, this one. Okay, quite a good one, but it's now consolidating. Last week I think it was still okay, but this week the volume of the red candles is kind of high lah. Okay, need to be a bit more cautious. Your new support may be the gap, which is 0.37, or otherwise if it's not the gap, then it's most likely about here lah. Okay, 0.36. Okay, and then your new resistance is actually a zone, because you can see that there's a a lot of resistance past this level lah. Okay, so this will be your new resistance, 0.41 to 0.435 level. I don't think the 39 cents support worked. And then your gap support 0.37. It actually held lah. Okay, it actually held here, then came back up. So this was kind of like a washout lah. This small hammer over here, and your next support will be at 0.36. Okay. Now capital A, somehow is really not in tandem with AAX. Let me just have a look at AAX chart. Yeah, it's really not in tandem with AAX. It's not looking very good lah. Okay, the 0.99 is actually quite a strong support, broken down already, and then on Friday actually gapped down. And then you see the selling force is actually quite high lah over here. Okay, currently to me it looks like it's forming lower low and lower high already. Okay, like this. So it may just have another rebound before going this thing lah. Okay, but it will be a lower high. Okay, not looking good. So support and resistance stays the same. Okay, your next support will be at 0.865 lah. Okay, so this is actually one of the reasons why I don't like a V-shaped rebound, because there's actually no base to actually support if there is a drop down or something. Okay, MN Holdings. Okay, your resistance definitely at 0.375. Okay, then your support will be at 0.305 lah. Okay, the volume that came in on Friday is quite healthy, quite high, and the close is actually quite good lah. It's quite close to the high of the day. The just that what I don't really like is the base didn't really form nicely lah. Okay, it's like just touch one day and then it start moving again. Okay, but besides that, I think the trend is okay. I don't really think it has broken out yet. Oh, IPO last year. Come here again, come here. Until it breaks out from 0.375, I don't really think it's uptrend again lah. Looks more sideways, okay? Because if you actually look at it, this is like one box over here, then come up here, this is like a huge box over here, okay? I don't think it has really turned uptrend or not lah, okay? But the volume is building, okay? It is building volume over here. Before it attempts to break out lah. Okay. OVH. Okay, we look at this stock before the recent volume. You see there's actually no demand here. There's literally no demand. Okay, suddenly there's a huge selling volume, and then after a few days there's huge buying volume, push up, then come back down. It looks more like a pump and dump counter to me lah, honestly. But if we look at it, then this will be your support 0.21. You have a newer support here at 0.23. Okay, and your resistance definitely at 0.275 lah. Okay, so volume is already drying up. If you actually have a look at it, volume is drying up during the pullback lah. Okay, but this one also there was already met with some resistance at 0.275 this candle, so it didn't really close that high lah. Okay. So yeah, that's about OVH lah. SKB, I think recently this is one of the hot stocks also. Doing quite well actually. Currently it's doing a pullback lah. Okay, so like I always say, the problem with stocks that don't have any base, that means they do V shape or they just fly high, you know, don't without any staircase pattern, is not really a good thing lah. Okay. When it comes back down, really there isn't really a base lah. Okay, it can really just free fall. Like for example, this one it opened and closed down about 8%. It came down to about 11%. Okay, so where the stock decides to build a base and does a pullback is for the market makers to decide. But as of now, there is a base built at about 0.67 lah. Okay. In times like this, we can actually use Fibonacci's retracement, and if we pull from the highest to the lowest, we will see where it can pull back to lah. Okay, so for this one, there's a possibility it can pull back to 0.382, which is here 0.66, or the 0.5 level, which is 0.595, or the 0.618, which is 0.535 lah. Okay, so I don't think it may have found bottom. Okay, if it has found bottom, then it will be somewhere here. Okay, 0.67 lah. Okay, you will see the trend next week. Okay, but the shooting star over here is not a good sign, and on a weekly chart, on a weekly time frame, is also a shooting star, which is not a good thing lah. Okay, so if you look at the weekly chart, there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 continuous green weeks until the 5th week. Then only it formed like a shooting star lah. Okay. So you need to be a bit cautious lah. Okay, there is already some form of heavy selling. Okay. Okay, next is Harta. I think Top Glove released the QR today. As usual, I'm not a fundamentalist, but if you ask me, I think it's not bad lah. Okay, I think the heavy selling came from people who didn't really read inside the news. Okay. As I remember, Top Glove actually has lower losses, less losses this quarter, and the huge loss is because they wrote off some impairment costs. Okay, I remember reading something about people are already starting to order. Their quality is better than China, so people are starting to and then the cost is not so much difference already, so they are starting to order back more from Top Glove. Moving forward, there won't be so much of impairment anymore, and the stockpile, that means the inventory that their clients have, is also depleting. Okay, so that is actually good news for Top Glove. and glove companies, because they depend on it lah. Okay, their business. So if we look at it on Harta's chart, I think it's doing not bad. I think it's still forming higher lows, albeit there's no higher high lah. Okay, the highs cannot really be found at the moment. So I think glove will come back to an equilibrium eventual. It will come back to become a value play. Okay, that means like I just give you an example. Previously glove had the mania. Okay, during COVID, people buy. So if let's say the company is actually only worth 15 ringgit despite the mania, people tend to push it up even higher. Okay, let's say it's about 12 lah. People tend to push it up to 20 because everyone wants to FOMO. Okay, because during COVID time there's literally nothing to buy. Okay, and for them the only business that can make money now is glove because everyone needs it. Okay, I think during the pandemic era, glove and mask were the hottest. Okay, everyone flocked to go and buy glove and mask. Okay, so and businesses were closed. Okay, you kind of can't open if you are not essential, and glove companies, mask companies were considered essential. So of course, if you're operating means you make money lah. You close down, of course you got no money. So many people jump into the glove wagon lah. So when there are a lot of people who jump into the glove wagon, the stock price runs faster than the actual value of the company. Okay, which for me is what happened lah. Okay, so if you draw a line like this, okay, for me, glove companies, what would have happened will be something like this lah. The actual value, okay, and this is the actual value, and people buy and sell lah. Okay, so I think now it's actually at like, you know, something like coming up already. Okay, it will eventually normalize to what the true value of the company is. Okay, that's what I believe lah for glove companies. Okay, as for Harta, you see, even Top Glove came out with such a huge loss. It wasn't sold down badly. Okay, we will go over to Top Glove's chart. I think someone asked for Top Glove's review also. It didn't jump down. It didn't dive lah. Okay, so you see like here, good quarter jump. Okay, here quarter not good dive. You know, see the volume. But if you look at the price today, actually it didn't dive. You know, it's like quite priced in already, which is a good news lah. Okay, if let's say you got a lot of bad news spamming into the counter, and then after the bad news comes out, it doesn't go down, it's already absorbed lah. It was already counted already. Okay, so it's actually a good thing. Okay, so putting that aside, it is forming higher lows. Okay, so you can see one low, higher low, and then higher low again. It is forming higher lows. No higher highs. Okay, so currently your support will be this level, 1.97, while your resistance will be 2.15 lah. Okay, hibiscus, one of my case studies last week failed miserably because oil prices dived down. Okay, not really dive lah, kind of did quite a heavy pullback. I think it also broke down from the most recent support. Okay, so hibiscus and Uzma, I think the next chart, the next counter Uzma, both didn't do well lah. Okay, generally because of the oil price dropping lah. Okay, so hibiscus, you can see there's a lot of support, there's a lot of resistance over here. Okay, so if this 1.11 don't become a new support, it will become a new resistance, that's for sure. Okay, so currently the counter has jumped down to about 1.01. I think there's some share split news over here, which I'm not sure of because I don't follow the stock. Okay, so it has jumped down to around here. I'm not so sure whether it has found a base or not. There are quite a lot of gap downs over here. But your next support will definitely be within the range of 0.99 to 1.0 lah. Okay, maybe it will become, this will become the support because it was previously a resistance, or you will just use this resistance, this support. Anyway, it's quite near to each other lah. Okay, next is Uzma, same lah, hibiscus. You will follow the oil prices. Okay, so this is one problem you have when you buy commodity stocks lah. Okay, when you have stocks that are related to commodity, when the commodity goes up or down, the stock price tends to follow lah. Okay, so if let's say you buy oil counters, you need to always monitor oil prices, and if you buy like palm oil counters, you need to always monitor palm oil prices lah. Okay, so for Uzma, I don't have any changes. Maybe I'll just add one support over here, which is 0.71 lah. Okay. If it reaches 0.71 and then it hovers around, it will be a sideways trend. Okay. If it reaches 0.71, I mean, there's any possibility lah. It can also be like this. Okay. Or it can also be like this. Okay, there's always a possibility lah. So you just need to look at your support and resistance levels. Okay. Okay, Agenta. It looks sideways lah. Okay, it really looks sideways. It's still not able to break this resistance at 1.15, and the support is definitely at about 1.04 lah. Okay, it's not able to break this resistance and also support. So if you're not able to break resistance and support, means the stock is going nowhere lah. It's gonna go up down, up down, up down within that range only lah. Okay, so I don't think there's any changes from the previous review of Agenta. Now Top Glove. Okay. Similar to Harta, despite the strong news that came out about the losses and everything, it didn't really have that much of a loss lah. Okay, I mean the price didn't drop that much lah. Okay, it's still forming a higher low along the way. This low, this one. I mean, if you ignore these two lah. Okay, still forming higher lows along the way. And if you look at the quarter, I think this one was someone else quarter report came out, so it dive. Okay, this quarter come out also dive. Okay. This one high volume. Okay, but this quarter come out volume not so high lah, so I think kind of already priced in lah. Okay, either priced in or no more retailers want to sell lah. Okay, so technically I think Top Glove is doing not bad. I think your support will be about here 0.72, whereas your resistance would be about, should be here lah, 0.85. Okay, it may do some sideways consolidation before attempting to take a trend lah. Okay, before attempting whether it wants to go downtrend or form a lower low or start forming higher lows and higher highs. Okay. Okay, JTiasa. Quite an interesting case last week. Okay, so you can see it actually touched here. Okay. Then it came back up here. So this on Friday. So on Monday it opened. Then it came down. It tested about here lah. Okay. It's still finding a base. Okay, it didn't really take the previous resistance as a support. It's still finding a base to me. Okay, and I think it may have found this base lah. Okay, it actually hit 2 times, but we will need to see whether this base is able to hold or not lah, this support. Okay, so I'll just draw a line over here. 0.845 is one support lah. Okay, and your resistance, I think it will have to, you will definitely need to break out from this these two levels first, 0.945 and also 0.93 lah. Okay, quite a lot of resistance. JTiasa is a palm oil related counter, but I think among all the palm oil counters, JTiasa seems to be doing better. Okay, okay, YTL. It's either sideways or endgame lah. Okay, I wouldn't want to say for sure because it's definitely in sideways now, and you can see that the support is at 1.4 while the resistance is at 1.58. Over the past week, I don't think it has taken a trend, but you can see that there's quite high in all these red candles and also this Friday green candle. It literally shows you that there's more selling pressure than the buying pressure lah. Okay, so it may go lower. Okay, it may find a stronger base before it attempts to do anything lah. Okay, before it attempts to take a direction. Okay, okay. SCIB, I think the stock broke out on Thursday. Okay, if we look at it, it will look something like let's see, it will look something like this. First cup, second one, third one, then break out from this level. Okay, quite nice the pattern. Okay, so your previous resistance level is here. See, very nicely done. Okay, at this level. And then your support will be here lah. Okay, currently it's attempting to break above 0.5. Of course, didn't make it, so it's standing at 0.5 now. Next week you will see the direction the stock wants to take lah. Okay, looking at this, looks like it just freshly broke out lah. Okay, looks like one cup, another cup lah. Okay, this one kind of like a VCP pattern lah, quite interesting. Okay, bar vest, gold mining related, but I think recently had some news and stuff like that caused it to fall badly, and then people have started buying again lah. Okay, something like Niaga also fall badly, then people started buying again. Okay, if you look at it in this way, it's actually still uptrend. Okay, it's still uptrending. Then if you see over here, it's kind of sideways lah. Okay, but which direction it takes, you will be able to see it soon. This is higher highs, but this is lower highs. Okay, and this is the first low lah. Okay, first lower high. So if you look at the trend, it's going higher, but if you look at up here, it's kind of like forming lower highs and lower lows already lah. Okay, something that you need to be cautious of. So support and resistance has not changed. I think you will need to wait and see which trend it decides to take lah. Okay. Okay. Sekarang this one look quite obvious down lah. Like this, quite steep also actually, and then there is a gap here to be closed. The stock may decide to close the gap, then turn back up, or it may not also. Okay, there are possibilities. Okay, but it's definitely in downtrend lah. Okay, so this strong support over here was already broken. It has come down over here. Okay, I believe the support is at 0.21, and this was kind of like a washout lah. Okay, it's going to attempt to go higher. You can see volume is starting to come in. Okay, but how high it goes, whether it's a technical rebound or not, you will have to monitor it yourself lah. Okay, but these are the support and resistance levels lah. Okay, let's say the stock. Okay, you can see the stock is like this. This is the first high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It can form a lower high also, and then continue going up. So it will look something like this. Okay, but you will just have to be patient to wait and see what happens lah. Okay, but currently this is the support and resistance level. Okay, PTRB. This part was driven up by news of Japan throwing in nuclear water into the sea. Okay, subsequently, I think the quarter report came out and said China is buying more seafood from PTRB, but the stock price didn't follow. Okay, stock price didn't follow, so it started coming down. Then it rallied again. It actually reached the previous high, 0.56. And then when the quarter report came out, it dived down again to new lows. Okay, which has made the stock look something like this. Okay, lower lows and lower highs. Not looking good lah, not something we want when we are looking for an uptrend stock lah. Okay, so if you ask me, I don't think it's looking that good. Your newest support will be 46 cents. Okay, your gap resistance will be 50 cents, and let's go through that first lah. Unless there's a very strong force coming in, some news that says that PTRB is doing well, I don't think it will hit 0.56 or this level so soon lah. Okay, with that, actually there's honestly nothing to review with such stocks. Okay, there's really nothing. This was the previous resistance, 0.465. Okay, and then this is the support lah. Okay, 0.41. Okay, you can see the stock is climbing up, but it is not forming any base. Okay, it's basically the market operator decides I'm just going to push it up, then it will just continue going up lah. So there is no break. It will look something like SKB shut without a long candle in one day. Okay, it literally looks like that lah. Okay, so all I can say is the previous resistance turns support is 0.465. There was some resistance over here, 0.49, but you look at the stock counter, you don't see it moving I mean, you don't see meeting any resistance, forming any support here. It just continues going higher lah. Okay, it will look something like this lah. It just goes higher. Okay, it doesn't need to form any kind of base, you know, and sideways for as long. Or this one also, I think. Yeah, it just goes higher and higher. Okay, so I don't really have much comment for that. But my support and resistance level is here lah. Okay, this is the support, this is the resistance level lah. Okay, how high it can go, only the market operator knows lah. I have no idea. Okay, for EWIN, like I mentioned in last week's case studies, I don't know case study or what. I mentioned last week lah. Okay, this looks to be quite a solid base form 0.35. Okay, and the resistance still remains on 0.385. So currently it's moving sideways. It hasn't really found a direction yet. Whether it wants to go lower or go higher lah. Okay, it's moving sideways. You will need to wait until it makes a move lah on which direction it wants to take. Okay, so not much changes lah from the last chart review. Okay, LNG. This one is kind of a pump and dump counter lah. Okay, and it's really barcode to the max. Okay, volume come in, volume disappear, volume come in, then disappear, come in, disappear, come in, disappear. All don't have, then suddenly volume come in, then push up. Okay, so you just be cautious lah. Okay, the resistance remains 0.145 and the support remains at 0.12 lah. I don't think there's any changes. Kerjaya, this one also construction counter but doing quite well. Okay, you can see there is one cup over here, then like a flat kind of base over here before it actually shoots up lah. Okay, good, seemingly very good. The resistance was at 1.31. I think the resistance will now turn into a new support lah eventually. Okay, but what you need to look at is this candle over here. This is not a good candle. I think if the person who requested, I mean you requested Kerjaya, and you have seen like all the other stocks that I reviewed. Usually when this candle appears, it's not good lah. Okay, if we look at it theoretically, this is a possible trend reversal candle. Okay, it's not like the moment you see this, oh bad. No, it's a possible trend reversal lah. Okay, so that's why I'm saying you need to be cautious. Okay, so this one most likely is the resistance is most likely going to become a new support, and your new resistance will be, well, not bad, will be about 52-week high lah. More longer than 52-week will be 1.53 lah. Okay. Okay, E and O. Chart wise, I don't think it's that good anymore because it's like taking a breather. Okay, again, I think I receive a lot of property and construction counters. I think a lot of people are still in property and construction counters. Whether it continues going higher or not will totally depend on whether the team is still there or not. Okay, if the property and construction team is still there, then definitely the stocks will continue to rally higher. Okay, but if it's no longer there, then definitely it won't lah. Okay, so it will all depend on the whether the team is still on or not. As for the support and resistance, I don't think anything has changed lah. I think it's quite similar. Okay. Textile Industries, I think also there's no changes. I think my last week's review is support is at 0.395, and there is a possibility that the previous support of 0.43 will be the resistance, but currently it seems like it's challenging the support more often than it's challenging the resistance lah. Okay, so I think this one needs some time to see. Okay, and the last review, Synergy House. Actually, the chart is not bad. It's actually not bad lah. Okay, the support is at 0.36. Okay, we run the chart. So it was like this, and then it formed something like this. So you can see here is something like a cup and handle lah. Something like, it's not confirmed. Okay, so you can see here and then it broke out from here lah. Okay, so broke out already. Now it's attempting to build a new base. You don't necessarily need to have support at the previous resistance. Okay, it can be higher than that, it can be lower than that. It's just a point of reference lah. Okay, so it looks like it's building a base at 0.42 before attempting to go higher. Okay, what you need to worry about this counter is this chart is this candle over here. Okay, a big red candle with very high volume. Okay, it's like an alert lah for you. Okay, you need to be cautious of this candle. So putting the candle aside, it looks more like it's attempting to form a base at 0.42. Okay, and before it challenges the all-time high resistance at 0.455. Okay, I think this is home furnishing counter, I think. Okay, so you need to see lah whether the stock is going to build a base here and then continue higher or how. Okay, so that will be all for my stock review. I think 63 stocks to review. Disclaimer before I end the video. This video is entirely a chart review video only. It's for educational purpose. Okay, it does not contain any buy or sell call and should not be considered as a buy or sell call lah. Okay, if let's say you require financial advice, buy or sell calls, then please refer to your remiser lah or your licensed financial advisor. Okay, so that will be all for me for this week's chart reviews. I will see you all next week. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Bye bye.
If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.